Support line, this is Marcus. How can I help you today? The same phrase, the same tone, steady, polite, detached. Marcus Reed had said it so many times, he barely heard himself anymore. He worked night shifts from his apartment in East Detroit, where the only sounds after dark were distant sirens, the hum of his air purifier, and his own voice echoing back through his headset. He liked the quiet. He liked being invisible. He didn't expect the world to notice him. Until the day it did. 10 hours earlier. Marcus was 2 hours into his shift when he got up for a glass of water. His headset muted, screen dimmed, router lights blinking quietly in the corner. That's when it happened. Across the city, at 3:16 a.m., an anonymous 911 call came in. There's a bomb in the federal building downtown. It's going off in 1 hour. This is not a joke. The call was brief. The voice, male, low, calm, distorted by some kind of filter. But not masked well enough. The FBI traced it in under 30 minutes. Not to a cell tower. To an IP address. One that matched a residential modem. Registered to Marcus Reed. The knock. 7:52 a.m. Marcus had just ended his last call of the shift. He was logging out when the knock came. Then the second, louder. Then the door splintered open. He barely had time to stand before he was thrown to the floor, face down, knees in his back, a dozen voices shouting over each other. Don't move. Clear. We got him. He screamed not from pain, but confusion. What did I do? They didn't answer. They read him his rights, cuffed him, dragged him barefoot down the hallway of his apartment building while neighbors peeked through door chains. The interrogation. The room was cold, the table metal, the fluorescent light too bright. Marcus sat with his wrists still cuffed. 2 federal agents, plain clothes, badges visible, stared at him like he'd just landed from another planet. We traced a bomb threat to your Wi-Fi, one said. Care to explain? Marcus blinked. A what? They slid a printed IP log toward him. 911 call. Came through at 3:16 a.m. Voice was male. That's your connection. I was working, he said. Can you prove that? He gestured to the corner of the room. Check my call logs. My company records everything. I was on a call at 3:15, helping some guy fix his printer. One agent wrote that down. The other leaned in. Have you shared your password? Anyone else in your apartment? Number. Just me. And no one else has the password. He paused. Unless... The router. Marcus's brain kicked into gear. He wasn't just a support operator he used to freelance in network security before burning out. He still had some tricks, some habits. One of those habits. He logged router activity. Always had. If you still have my laptop, he said, I can show you the admin dashboard. Every device that connected to my router. Every IP lease. Even the MAC addresses. The agents exchanged a look. One left the room. The other stayed quiet, still watching him like a snake waiting to strike. The list. An hour later, they brought his laptop in. Marcus walked them through the login. He opened the router dashboard, a custom firmware he'd installed months ago. The list of devices appeared. His laptop, his phone, UAG, his smart speaker, YEEG, an unknown device. No name, no manufacturer, just a MAC address. Logged in at 3:14 a.m. Disconnected by 3:19. What's that? The agent asked. I don't know, but I didn't authorize it. They ran the MAC address. It returned partial data. Not a phone, not a laptop. Something smaller, temporary. A hotspot? A pocket radio? Something custom? Whatever it was, it had used his Wi-Fi and made that call. The realization. They spoofed it. Marcus said more to himself than to the agent. The agent raised an eyebrow. Spoofed? MAC spoofing. It's possible to fake a device ID. Combine that with a proximity attack, and someone could have sat outside my apartment and piggybacked off my connection. So, it wasn't you? I swear to God it wasn't. But I can prove it. How? I've got logs. And I've got neighbors. He stood or tried to, before the agent gestured for him to sit. You really want the truth? Marcus asked. The agent didn't answer, but something in his face changed. For the first time, he didn't look convinced. He looked interested. The last call. Hours later, Marcus was released pending further investigation. His laptop was returned, his apartment unsealed. But his life? Not returned. The internet branded him a terrorist. Neighbors whispered. His job locked him out of the system. His face was blurred on the news, but his name wasn't. And the worst part? He still had no idea who framed him. But he had an idea of how to find out. Marcus Reed sat in his living room, silence all around, laptop open on his knees, no calls, no headset, just a man trying to prove he wasn't a criminal to a world that already decided he was. The federal agents were gone, but the mess they left behind wasn't Vis's. His doorframe was splintered. A neighbor had left a note on it. Knew you were shady. Stay away. His phone buzzed again, another blocked number, another hang-up. He tossed it aside and opened his router logs again. He was looking for a ghost. Tracing the ghost. The unknown MAC address was gone, but not before it left a digital footprint. Marcus zoomed in on the exact connection window. 3:14 a.m. to 3:19 a.m. 5 minutes. That's all it took to frame him for terrorism. But there was something strange. His router recorded not just the MAC and IP, but signal strength, and it fluctuated, meaning the device wasn't stationary. It moved, got closer, then further away. Whoever used my Wi-Fi wasn't in my building, he muttered. They were outside, close enough for a signal, maybe in a car. He pulled up Google Earth, scanned his street. There it was, the alley between his building and the next complex. A perfect blind spot, hidden from cameras. He remembered something. His upstairs neighbor, an old vet named Rudy, had installed a motion-sensitive security cam after his garage was broken into last year. Marcus grabbed his hoodie and ran. The first lead. Rudy was half asleep when he opened the door. You again? The old man grumbled. I already told the feds everything. I know, but I think your camera might have caught something. Something they missed. Rudy narrowed his eyes. You still saying you didn't make that call? I didn't, but I think I can prove who did. A pause. Then Rudy opened the door wider. All right, let's take a look. The footage. The camera had a clear view of the alley. Rudy fast-forwarded to the timestamp Marcus gave him. 3:13 a.m. The alley was empty. 3:14 a.m. A car pulled in slowly, headlights off. It parked for 4 minutes. 3:18 a.m. Someone stepped out briefly. Hoodie, backpack, couldn't see the face. 3:19 a.m. The car backed out and disappeared. Marcus stared at the footage. There, that's it. That's when the call came in. Rudy shook his head. Looks like a burner op. Marcus took out his phone, snapped screenshots. He had something real now. Back to the logs. Back home, Marcus compared the footage with his router signal map. The signal had peaked at -39 dBm, unusually strong for outside interference. That meant one thing. The device wasn't just outside, it had authenticated. He froze. To do that, someone needed his password, which he never shared. He opened his email, scrolled through weeks of spam, newsletters, system alerts, and found one. Password reset request. NetWave router. Timestamp. 2:57 a.m. Location? Unknown. His heart pounded. Someone had guessed his admin credentials. Reset the router password. Logged in. Changed nothing. Just connected. Then vanished. The exploit. He remembered the model. NetWave routers, cheap, fast, and notoriously vulnerable. He opened a tech forum, searched for recent exploits. There it was. Remote admin backdoor found in NetWave firmware, 52.7.0 attacker can trigger factory reset with no local access if default port is open. He checked. Port 8080 open. Firmware v2.7.0 confirmed. He stared at the screen. They hadn't guessed his password. They'd used an exploit, an old one. And now they had control of his network, if only for 5 minutes. Building the case. He sent everything to Raven. She wasn't his lawyer, not yet, but she'd defended tech-related cases before. After a pause, she replied, "This is good, but not enough to clear you in public opinion. We need a face, a motive, a device." Marcus leaned back. He knew what that meant. Find the person. The trap. That night, he set up a second router. Same model, same open port, same vulnerable firmware. He added a honey trap login page. The page recorded IPs, keystrokes, and session behavior. He left the name of the network. NetWave. Private. And he waited. The breach? At 2:42 a.m., someone tried to connect. First, a probe ping. Then, an authentication attempt. Then, success. The IP traced to a public library 3 miles away. But the device ID was new, not the same as the one used in the bomb threat. Still, the attacker typed something, not a command. A message. "Nice try. You won't catch me this easy." Marcus stared at the screen. Whoever they were, they knew he was watching. This was no random attack. This was personal. The sun rose over Detroit like a dull fire through gray clouds. Marcus hadn't slept in 2 days. He sat by the window, the glow of his laptop painting shadows across his living room. The trap had worked partially. Someone had connected. Someone had taunted him. But they were still out there. The call. He was making coffee when his phone buzzed. Not a block number this time. A real one. Raven Calloway. "Morning," she said, voice sharp. "I have news, and you're not going to like it." "Shoot." "The library you traced the last signal to? Their Wi-Fi logs are erased, scrubbed clean. But the security cameras weren't." She paused. "Marcus, we have a face. The frame job." The footage showed a man entering the library at 2:35 a.m. Black hoodie, laptop bag, sunglasses at night. He sat at a corner station, connected for 5 minutes, then left. The timestamp matched the IP probe on Marcus's trap router. Raven continued. "He's been ID'd. Name's Devin Chase. He used to work freelance IT in the same firm you left 2 years ago." Marcus blinked. "That's not possible." "Oh, it gets worse. Turns out he was one of the subcontractors who applied for your job when it reopened. You got it. He didn't." Now it clicked. Revenge. And Devin knew his old address, maybe even his router model. And if he had access to old network config backups. Marcus's stomach turned. Connecting the dots. Together, he and Raven built a timeline. 2:55 a.m. Devin uses NetWave firmware exploit to breach Marcus's router. 3:14 a.m. Connects to Marcus's network from the alley. Places the 911 call. 3:16 a.m. Call is routed through Marcus's IP. 3:19 a.m. Disconnects and vanishes. Raven's conclusion. He framed you using your own digital shadow. Marcus leaned forward. Then we'll make his shadow louder. The public play. They needed more than IP logs and MAC traces. They needed a confession or close to it. Marcus baited Devin. He sent an anonymous email using a masked address. "You made a mistake. You hit my honeypot. Now I've got your device ID, your keystrokes, and a direct trace. Meet me or the next person I contact is the FBI." He attached a blurry still from the library camera. Devin's outline. 20 minutes later, he got a reply. "You won't do it. No one believes the guy they already arrested." That was the crack. And Marcus would break it open. The meeting. They chose neutral ground, a dead coffee shop near the freeway. Half the lights out, no security cams inside. Marcus wore a wire. Raven sat in a car outside with a live feed. Devon showed up wearing the same black hoodie. No laptop this time, just arrogance. "You really think this is going to fix anything?" he said, sliding into the booth. "You tried to frame me for terrorism," Marcus replied calmly. "What did you think would happen?" Devon leaned forward, whispering, "They came for you, didn't they? Guns drawn, I bet. Didn't take much, huh?" Marcus didn't blink. "Why?" Devon smirked. "Because I could." A beat. "Because they always believe the first story. And you sitting in your apartment, black alone, you were the perfect scapegoat." Marcus clenched his fists. "And because I should have had your job." The arrest. Raven walked in. FBI agents followed 2 seconds later. Devon froze. Wire, boom mic, hidden camera, all of it. He didn't speak again as they cuffed him. Didn't shout. Didn't beg. Just stared at Marcus like he still didn't believe it. Like he was the victim now. The fallout? The news broke fast. Detroit man cleared after bomb threat frame-up. FBI arrests local hacker for orchestrating false terror call. Digital sabotage and racial targeting. The story of Marcus Reed. The public turned. Marcus's name was cleared. His job offered him reinstatement. He declined. Instead, he launched a site, Traceback, a small, crowd-funded project to track Wi-Fi and network-related abuse with Raven as co-founder. The final shift. 1 month later, Marcus stood in the same apartment where it all began. But it wasn't quiet anymore. He had a new router, new firmware, cameras inside and out. And on his wall, next to his work desk, he pinned one note. "If they can spoof the truth, make yours louder." He sat down, put on his headset, and when the system beeped for a new call, he answered it like always. "Support line, this is Marcus. How can I help you today?" Only now the world knew who he was.